Hi everyone, it's Sunday, December 20th, time for our last HideNet Week in Review for 2020. I'm Vera Dordick. Once again, parts of the globe saw an active week when it comes to price changes, and this is at a time when typically things slow down, but of course there's nothing to call typical about this year. Europe was one of the places to see all sorts of price increases. Editor Andrea Guallo says that buyers suddenly found themselves facing much higher offering prices this week. And 36 Plus English Ox was one of those selections to see higher levels. While the price the previous week was at 95 cents in sterling, this week the price is definitely £1, with smaller high-quality lots as high as £1 5 cents per kilo. Ireland also saw their prices rise. Looking at European bulls, German selections are definitely driving the market higher. And that's even more than they had been expected to do. Selections from southern Germany are starkly higher at €1.45 per kilo. €1.45 per kilo. With regard to cows, they too are experiencing rising prices. Veal skins, on the other hand, they're stable, and that's a welcome development because lately they've not been having a good period. In his analysis this week, Andrea looks at what is driving the price increases and what the prospect for recovery looks like in the new year. And while we're on the subject of price increases, let's turn to South America because there were plenty of higher levels there this week as well. Editor Ronald Guiel says that the last full week of business ended with a substantial jump in raw material prices. These are up by 11 cents in reals, closing at $1.31 per kilo for fresh material. Inevitably, TR1 also rose to sell for 95 cents per square foot. In other news from Brazil, the country's footwear associations presented their data on sales and production for 2020 and their projections for 2021. And it looks like the footwear sector is expected to grow 19% next year, and although that's good, it's still far below pre-COVID levels of business. We also want to note that FEMEC announced it's moving its physical fair to May from March to allow for more time for the pandemic to subside. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's footwear production contracted by 30% this year. Chile says its manufacturing production has advanced, but not in leather. The industry in Mexico is working to protect itself from cheaper Chinese imports. And in Uruguay, a second refrigerator saw its beef imports to China suspended over COVID cases at the production plant. Last but not least, looking at the U.S. market, that was not one of the spots seeing a lot of change. Prices, again, were mostly steady with the exception of automotive selections, and those are still firm or higher, and the ones that are higher are mainly heavy native steers. Most sources are saying that while price increases have largely slowed, it's more of a stabilization, and sellers and producers are pretty happy with their positions. Of course, shipping is still a really big problem, and some sellers who had not been too badly affected are now complaining about shipping problems. In fact, some say it doesn't matter if you can sell the hides because it's nearly impossible to get them all shipped. With regard to heavy Texas steers, sales were few but steady at $31 for seasonal weights. Slaughter for the week through Saturday, December 19th was 659,000, and that's 1% less than last week. Looking at combined export sales, they were a paltry 348,700, which is down by about a third from last week. Combined shipments were actually up again this time by 6% at 499,200. And so this brings us to the end of our last Sunday review for 2020, as we noted, and we will resume our videos on January 10th. The staff and the editors at HideNet wish everyone a happy and especially healthy 2021, no matter what the fates bring. And until next year, good night from HideNet.